Hi, everyone. This is Marvin with a little bit from the cutting room floor that didn't make it into my sermon this past Sunday about John chapter 4, the story of Jesus' encounter with a Samaritan woman at a well in the land of Samaria. Uh, just in case you weren't there or aren't familiar with the story, Jesus encounters this woman at a well as she's come to draw water, and they have a confusing conversation. The woman keeps misunderstanding Jesus's metaphorical language and symbolic language, but finally they begin to communicate with each other, and she perceives that he's a prophet because of his extraordinary knowledge about her, and he reveals himself to her as the Messiah, the one that God has promised to send to right everything that is wrong with the world. And so she goes back to her village and she tells her neighbors, "Come met a man who told me everything about myself. He can't be the Messiah, can he?" And so they come and they meet Jesus and they invite him to stay with them for a couple of days. And out of these conversations comes conversion to faith in Jesus Christ as the Messiah. And there is a sentence at the end of the story where the woman's neighbors say to her, "It's no longer because of what you told us that we believe. We've seen for ourselves and believe that this is the Savior of the world." And I've often thought that that's kind of a dismissive statement by the neighbors. That it's sort of like, you've done your duty. We don't need you anymore. We'll take it from here. But the more I think about it, the more I think that it's a different case altogether. I think a lot of us live on what one writer has called borrowed faith. We believe things about Jesus Christ that other people have taught us or that other people believe. Our parents, our Sunday school teachers, a minister, a scout leader, somebody else. But there's a difference between living on borrowed faith, I think, and a living faith in Jesus Christ that is informed by an encounter with Him. And so I think that that's what the neighbors are getting at. They've moved beyond hearing about Jesus and believing some things about him to encountering him personally and entrusting themselves to him personally without an intermediary or a teacher or a guide. And I think that that's something that all of us can hope for. And really, I think that's something that all of us should aspire to. Uh, we need to hope and pray for more than just knowing some things about Jesus or being taught about Jesus. I think what we need to hope for and aspire to, and what I think that we will receive eventually as a gift, not as something that is owed to us, is an encounter with Jesus Christ, a relationship with Jesus Christ that is real and that is transformative. And I think that that is essential when it comes to the process of introducing other people to faith in Jesus Christ. I think it's the people who knew Jesus personally who probably were able to teach us most compellingly about Jesus. So I think uh, the faith that we borrowed, we may well have borrowed from people who had that personal living faith, and now it's time for us to go forward. And I think that that's important as we think about what it means to make disciples in this day and age. There's a book that I read a few years ago, Unbinding the Gospel, and the author makes the point that you can't give what you don't have. And so, uh, if we want to give the gift of Jesus Christ, if we want to make disciples of all nations, then we must have first received this gift of Jesus Christ. We must first be disciples of Jesus Christ. So we, in this kind of time of high anxiety, of declining membership, declining revenue in the institutional church, I think there's so much pressure to come up with some sort of strategy to boost numbers, whether they are dollars or whether they are people in pews on Sunday mornings. I think that we're really being called to do something deeper and more transformative. Um, and that is seek Jesus Christ out for ourselves, uh, seek an encounter with Him for ourselves. And then that in turn is something that, when the time is right, we can share with other people. So that's a little bit from the cutting room floor for this week after the sermon with the on the woman at the well and Jesus. If you have any questions or thoughts or comments, use the comment feature where you see this video posted, or just shoot me an email. M. Lindsay, SAY, at haddonfieldpres.org. Have a great afternoon. Goodbye.